This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
As Cheyenne's weather turns warmer, dust and pollen can become a problem for those with allergies, asthma, or respiratory issues. And the last thing you want in the summer heat is poor air quality in your home or office. So it's time to turn to Marv's Plumbing and Heating. That's right, Cheyenne's most trusted plumbing, sewer, and heating business also services air conditioning. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, can handle all your air conditioning needs. Give them a call, 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming-Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
And we're so glad we get to talk sports today right here on 1480 KRAE. Our sponsors, we want to thank first and foremost Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, the Wyoming-Montana Safety Council, 635-4592. Mondello's Pizzeria at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons, where they serve up delicious Paisan cuisine 7 days a week. First Tier Bank directly across the street at 1508 Stillwater Avenue. We have Lennox Auto Body ×2 with the main auto glass and detail center over on Pershing Boulevard, and of course the Auto and Truck Repair Center with a plethora of bays over on Dunn Avenue. Medicap Pharmacy for all your pharmaceutical needs next door to Texas Roadhouse on Bluegrass Circle. Platte Valley Bank, 2 locations, Vanda High, and of course on the east side of the corner of College and Pershing. Kia of Cheyenne, moving out the 2018, so the 19's going to arrive and get ready to take their place on the lot. Kia of Cheyenne. See my good friends AJ and Greg Miller and the entire crew over on Nation Way. Chick-fil-A, Monday through Saturday, get 3 squares there. Yes, breakfast served up every morning. Of course, delicious lunch and dinners as well. Ray and Sydney and the whole crew invite you to come on by, especially for breakfast. 2 convenient drive-thrus, too, to get you in, get you out, and get you off to work. Chick-fil-A, right across from Menards at the corner of Windmill and Del Range. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service on Highway 30. Again, your home for Jayco RVs and fifth wheels. And again, special pricing right now as we get ready to close out the year. And Taco Jaws, home of the loaded potato olays, 6-pack and a pound. Taco Tuesdays, and of course their sirloin steak burritos, which are here for a limited time. Again, have it for breakfast, have it for lunch, and really load up on those sirloin steak burritos.
Again, that limited time until early September. So
here
we got a few weeks.
Tick, 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 tick. The clock is going. And we almost get our program underway with our scoreboard. Hey, Friday Night Lights tomorrow, where our Pepsi scoreboard will be in action.
You're taking my thunder away?
Right now, it is time for our Pepsi scoreboard, brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
I'm just saying, don't take my portion of the scoreboard, because at this point in time, I don't have a whole lot.
You have Bupkis.
I do have something from last night, though, with LCCC women's volleyball, as they got a victory, their first victory of the season. It is regular season action time. They won 3-0 over Trinidad State Junior College, so LCCC 1-0 on the season so far. And as you mentioned, again, tomorrow here on 1480 KRAE, it will be Thunder Basin, the number 5 ranked team in state of Wyoming, Class 4A. They will be taking on Cheyenne Central over at Risky Field. That game, again, set to kick off at 7 p.m. Pre-game here on 1480 KRAE, 6:30 with you, Chris Bolton, me on the video, at least production side, so maybe I'll chime in every once in a while. But again, that will be our game of the week coming up tomorrow at 7 p.m. Again, you can hear it here live on radio, 1480 AM, 101.1 FM, 1480kray.com, or the 1480kray YouTube channel.
That's streaming on 1480kray.com. Let's take a look at Major League Baseball for today. At Coors right now, the Rockies are leading 2-1 over the Padres, and who's that familiar face in left field? That being one, Matt Holliday.
He goes from rookie ball back to the big leagues.
And he's 0 for 3 right now this afternoon. Kyle Freeland, though, is throwing very well for the Rocks. He's fashioning a 6-hitter right now as the Rockies lead by 1-1. A final in between the Phils and the Nats at Nationals Park. Philadelphia wins 2-0. Indians lose again to the Red Sox at Fenway. Both Sox win with a 7-0 blanking of the Tribe. Tigers and the White Sox at Comerica today, and the Motor City Kitties win 7-2 in Detroit. Another final, the Giants have topped the Mets 3-1. Mad Bum improves to 5-5 on the season as the Giants get by the Mets 3-1. Games get underway when we say adios. Bravos at the Marlins, Royals at the Rays, Reds and the Cubs tonight at Wrigley, and the Swingin' A's move on to Minnesota to face the Twins at Target Field. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
This is the Pepsi that's got a date with your taste buds. We're talking 1,000 bubbles dancing a two-step with you and 2 tacos at 2 a.m.
Order number 83? Come on, you're up!
This is the Pepsi that has mastered the art of the late-night munchies and is always down to dig into some deep dish.
Hey, we don't do deep dish, capiche?
Try telling that to Chicago. This is the Pepsi for po' boys, pulled pork sliders, and the godfather of all sandwiches, the Godfather. This is the Pepsi for street carts, anything a la carte, and is dying to make the leap into your grocery cart. Come on, take us home with you. This is the Pepsi for those who are forever fun. This is the Pepsi for every generation.
You're listening to Cheyenne's new Sports Talk Authority. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today on AM 1480 K-Ray.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk today for Thursday afternoon. Larry Perotti, Nick Perotti, as we have more football-packed show today.
As I say, we have more guests lined up for today.
Right.
We'll hear a press conference from Wyoming head coach Craig Bull as he's discussing the upcoming contest this Saturday between New Mexico State and
how
Wyoming.
summer camp is gone.
Yeah, but it's more preview because
Right.
it is week 1 for college football, including Wyoming. So we will listen to that here coming up very shortly. Also, too, you had an interview with Thunder Basin head football coach Trent Pacula. So we will listen to that. And then also, too, Cheyenne Central athletic director, as we've had every other athletic director in town come on the show. We were just missing Chad Whitworth, so he will join us. You had an interview with him as well, so we'll listen to that coming up on today's show.
Before we go into the Craig Bowl segment, let's keep it on college football right now. And the story came from ESPN senior writer Heather Dinich. And, you know, as you read the story and watch some of the clips, she's on the mark, and Urban Meyer definitely is a little off base.
Urban Meyer,
he doesn't get it.
Clearly.
I mean,
why the guy is still employed with Ohio State, and
for 3 games he got suspended.
Well, and the interesting, it was kind of passed around. Again, Urban Meyer has been suspended for 3 games this season for this whole domestic violence. Again, nothing that he did, but it was more so of him turning the blind eye to what was happening on his own staff.
Yeah.
But it was a situation that it was outlined of 3 games suspension for this season, which he will serve. But the interesting thing, it was something that I do believe Sports Illustrated brought up to the at least the limelight, was look at, for instance, years ago with A1 QB there at Ohio State with Terrell Pryor. Guy went and sold some of his memorabilia. Do believe like a jersey was involved. Got 4 games. So 1 more than what Urban Meyer's getting right now. A few other players as well, too, that were suspended.
Let's stop right there. So Pryor got 4 games for
selling memorabilia,
okay,
which is a no-no with the NCAA. Obviously, we know that they can't make their own money off of their own license.
Stuff.
Yeah.
But in the case of Urban Meyer is not the guilty party. He's an accessory.
Yeah. But
I'm
again,
being devil's advocate. Okay.
Should have said something when he knew about it, and even in his press conference, he acknowledged it as much as at least his press conference was pretty crappy.
At the Big Ten media days, he just flat out lied.
Oh yeah, he absolutely lied. But it's an issue where there's other players that have gotten lengthier games suspensions for selling memorabilia or minute things of what. And again, Urban Meyer is not the party who did the violence, but again was, as you said, an accessory and should have said something, stopped it when it was at a head and when he knew about it, but did not. It's interesting how the NCAA operates. It's a complete joke, and we've said that for many years. At least for me, the NCAA and that entire board needs to be removed. They have no idea what they're doing. This is unexcusable. That, again, domestic violence, you give the guy, again, as much as he's an accessory, but this is still a serious issue where he could have stopped this at a head. He knew about it for quite some time, lied about it. You give him 3-game suspension. One less than what you are giving players that are selling their own stuff just to make a buck.
Well, what about, and you're right on the NCAA, and you have your absolute argument.
Well, and it goes back.
What about this group at Ohio State, Nick?
Yeah.
These folks that did a 23-page report and came up with these findings. What about this group? You know what it is? It's all about the Benjamins. It's all about protecting their football program.
Yeah.
They don't care about what actually happened. That's what bothers me.
It's a terrible just situation what's going on at Ohio State. I think it's unexcusable. I think the NCAA needs to rethink of how much they need to suspend Urban Meyer for. Again, 3 games is not enough, especially when you look at the thing, or at least in the whole picture of the NCAA of how we are giving out suspensions, especially in football. You are punishing more the players trying to make a buck than the guy who could prevent a domestic violence, a very serious crime in real life that's punishable to jail time. We give this guy who's an accessory to it, who should have stepped up and said something, instead tried to hide it. You give him 3 games. Just as a little pat on the head and going, there you go.
Now, the investigators at Ohio State said they believed, in their 23-page report, they believe that Meyer and his wife Shelley communicated some way about concerns that Courtney Smith, the ex-wife of Zach Smith, raised to Shelley Meyer in a text message back in 2015. Urban Meyer told investigators during interviews this month and told reporters last night that he had no knowledge of those messages. I mean, I think it'd be best right now that Urban got a lawyer and just shut his yap.
Yeah, at this, especially with the press conference, he just dug his own. He dug that hole even farther down. It did not help his case at all. I think he's gained even more hatred towards him for what he said. And Ohio State, this is not going to be the end of it. I would not doubt at these games you're going to see protesters. There's going to be very heavily backlash.
So,
absolutely, yeah. I do. I absolutely believe that Ohio State deserves
everybody
this.
On that investigative crew, led by this Mary Jo White, I think they, and if they are associated with either the trustees or whether they're associated with Ohio State, they definitely need to step down because this is awful. I mean, you are basically.
And we do have, thank you to all who are joining us on the Periscope and YouTube side, and again, who are chatting over there, but we did have one comment who kind of suggested a lifetime ban.
Welcome to my world. I've been saying this for years, and the NCAA, like you said, they need to go bye-bye. This group of, I can say it, this group of old farts needs to go.
Absolutely.
They are a disgrace, but also this committee at Ohio State, basically, I don't want to say they condone it.
Yeah.
Because they're saying, well, you know, we understand what's going on better than you and me, Nick. They understand what you and me know, and they're saying Urban Meyer's, you know,
he's not a bad guy.
He's not a bad guy.
He didn't do anything wrong.
It's this coach that's a bad guy, even though that Urban knew that he was a bad guy. So we can't really.
And again, they're trying to shift the focus. And again, that assistant coach absolutely deserves the maximum punishment. Again, he's the main party at fault. But again, you are an accessory, Urban Meyer. You should have stepped up and done something about it. It's the similar situation with the Joe Paterno. Again, not as. Don't want to say as extreme. Again, what happened out there in Penn State that is just heinous. This is
unforgivable.
It's not as extreme as much as, again, not to downplay of domestic violence, but it is still a very bad situation where you couldn't say anything. Why? You didn't want to jeopardize his career. Why? I mean, he was doing something illegal, something wrong, something in at least across the nation is frowned upon, is punishable with jail time. And you go, maybe it'll take care of itself and go away.
Here's what the lead investigator, Mary Jo White, says. While those denials were plainly not accurate, Coach Meyer did not, in our view, deliberately lie. Coach Meyer impressed us with his sincere commitment to the respect for women, core value that he espouses and tries to instill in his players. Those details, along with many others that reveal a long pattern of Zach Smith's troubling behavior going overlooked by Meyer and Gene Smith, were made public in the investigation's findings.
Yeah,
it's a disgrace. Again, it's athletics.
For me, again, it's nothing against the student athletes, especially the players there at Ohio State. Again, unless there is some finding that they knew about it as well too, but. It's a terrible situation that those student athletes have to go through right now, dealing with this circus out there where you should just remove the parties as is. Again, get the circus away, get rid of Urban Meyer at the point. Just say, we don't need you anymore. Just get out of here.
Well, it also
you had it once. This was your chance. You blew it. Get out.
It also says over there in Columbus that football is more important than
which is understandable. Which is again in Ohio, what is. Kind of similar to a Texas style. They love their football. Ohio State is that powerhouse. It is that team that can bring national championships to that state, to that community out there in Columbus. And absolutely, they love it. It's kind of like a Nebraska where, hey, we gather around this. This is our thing. This is what puts us on the map. And I get why there is that kind of sweeping on the rug and trying to do that, but it's still not acceptable. It is still a bad situation, and again, you feel with the same situation with Louisville doing it on the basketball side with Rick Pitino and what that is. Again, those student athletes, those players have to deal with the repercussions that they didn't have any involvement with.
Right.
They were kind of innocent parties. Same with the football situation here in Ohio State. They are innocent parties, at least until something else comes out of maybe the QB figured it out or was a part of it, at least on the inside. And again, that is just me saying as speculation, not anything true to that. But, again, they get to be punished, but the coach, again, 3 games. Okay.
So, and again, going back to one of our comments there, reporting about lifetime ban. Have I sat here and said that numerous times?
Yeah.
If you got your hand caught in the cookie jar in one way, shape, or another, adios.
Yeah.
There should not be a 3-game suspension of Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer seems to be bigger than everything right now in Columbus, so we're going to do everything to save his arse. That's what this committee did. Well, and I think this committee is shameful.
Same situation what we saw with Penn State. Again, with Joe Pa. Again, he was the untouchable. He was, the father. He was, again, this godlike figure there with the Nittany Lions of, hey.
And then when everything unraveled, it was like, you are just as guilty. You were a worse accessory.
It's just interesting that Ohio State, or at least that committee, has not figured that out and not basically come out and said that yet. Why they're doubling down of going, well, it's not on him. Let's focus on that. Oh, well, it's just Urban Meyer he's kind of like a Rick Pitino of football where he's just had miles of just bad road. Wherever he goes, it just seems like he has all sorts of problems. He brings problems to programs, and it's a guy that should not get any more chances.
What do we say about him and the guy in Arizona? Gone.
Yeah.
Never get another job again in college. If you go to the NBA, great, terrific. In the case of Urban Meyer, if if they would have handed down the guillotine on him, hey, see ya, no more college football for you, pal.
Yeah.
NFL, hey, they want you. Look at Pete Carroll. You can do that. You can commit a crime.
What a joke.
You can commit a crime in college, and by golly, you can go right to the National Football League. So,
yeah.
But that's what I'm saying.
The NCAA it's one of my top of just. I'm
just saying, Urban Meyer should have no dealings with any of my children ever again. No. He should be barred. You're right, for life, because again, anybody that condones that type of behavior, knows about it, is just as guilty. That's why we say accessory.
Again, he got a slap on the hand for this. 3 games. There you go. Yeah, you'll be fine.
Slap on the hand. I'm sure Mary Jo White gave him a kiss on the cheek, said, hey, we'll see you in 3 weeks.
Gave him like a $15,000 bonus if he keeps quiet throughout the whole thing or something, some cash bonus.
But again, this investigating crew at Ohio State, you definitely, if anything, should be the ones that get protested for being stupid.
Oh, yeah.
Just plain stupid.
Absolutely.
So, anyway, but like you said, one good thing about Ohio State, you prove that football is bigger than anything else at that university.
No surprise. There's no surprise at all. I do want to address, again, as we kind of get away from this topic, again, thank you to all who have joined us on the Periscope side. We did have over 1,000 viewers on yesterday's one-year anniversary show, so thank you to all who have joined us on that one and also to today's stream. And throughout the many months that we've been live streaming Wyoming Sports Talk today, we did have a comment earlier. Just want to address this really quickly for those who are new to the show, that we do have, if you can see, that Beat LA sign on the side. Someone asked us why we have that. Well, guess what? We're Giant fans, and we hate the Dodgers, so that's why that sign is on that computer tower right in front of you.
And it will be on that tower as long as I own this place.
Absolutely. Anyways, though.
Which could be until tomorrow. Anyway, no, we, again, both. And I guess when you look back on it as pops here, you knew when growing up how much I love the Giants. I still followed my Bay Area teams and the Niners, and of course I was jumping back and forth on the Raiders, but also too, since I've lived out here, grown accustomed to the Denver Broncos and as well as the Rockies.
As much as born and raised out here.
I haven't really adopted the Nuggets as much, because I've been living and dying with the Warriors forever. But one thing that you will never ever I will once in a while say nice things about them because they do deserve some niceties once in a while, but I will never, ever in my lifetime cheer for that team.
Unfortunately, we're just surrounded by them out here again with Chris Polton. Unfortunately, as you're joining us on that side. Sorry, Chris, got to throw you on the bus. And also to Christy Way, who does join us every Monday on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Again, I don't know how they became Dodger fans or, again, why you would choose that team of all teams. Come on now. There's something better out there.
Yeah.
Chris, you were born in L.A. You couldn't get on with the Anaheim Angels at least?
I'd have been on board with the. No, I wouldn't. I still would have been.
They got a more relevant World Series than the Dodgers do.
Yeah, they beat the Giants. So we don't want to discuss that. All right, we're going to take a timeout.
Yeah.
When we come back, Craig Bohl having his press conference, getting us all excited for Cowboy football 2018. Cowboys in Las Cruces, New Mexico, coming up this Saturday. It is already the start of college football. An early start for the Cowboys, and we'll be back after these words. First Tier Bank strives to remain competitive and offers some of the best CD rates in the community, as well as area banks and credit unions per Rate Watch reports. How does that make a difference to you? They can assist you in securing some of the best rates on CDs. They have a 16th-month CD at an APY of 2.05% and a 27th-month CD at an APY of 2.27%. You can feel confident that your finances are taken care of by a responsible, knowledgeable staff. First Tier Bank offers the personalized customer service you've grown accustomed to and deserve. Call 307-632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Are you looking for a pharmacist who will actually take the time to talk to you? Then come to Medicap Pharmacy. We're dedicated to healthcare only, which means we'll fill your prescription quickly, and then we'll make time to listen, answer your questions, explain your prescriptions, and tell you about possible drug interactions.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. or call 635-3712.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
All right, good half of football, boys. Now, good is good, but we can always be better. Look at Taco John's. They took those tasty little potato lays and loaded them up with bacon and ranch and all kinds of good stuff. They made something good even better.
Taco John's new loaded potato olays are loaded with craveable toppings for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and even dessert.
So olay the day, boys, and play like you're making loaded potato lays.
Olay the day at Taco John's.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be mostly cloudy with highs around 79 and winds out of the southeast at 15 to 20 miles per hour. For tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 49 and winds out of the west at 15 to 20. On Friday, it will be sunny with highs around 83, and on Friday night, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 53.
When it comes to sports talk in Cheyenne, it's a whole new ball game.
Let's play ball!
You're listening to Wyoming Sports Talk today, and it's only here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
Okay, guys, let's go ahead and get started. It's an exciting time, and welcome everybody to a new year. We're certainly pleased to be opening up early. There's only a certain number of teams that are playing. It's going to be on ESPN 2, and a great opponent. New Mexico State really ended their year on a great upswing, and they won their bowl game against Utah State, and we've got a great deal of respect for their program. I think they've stayed the course. While I don't know Coach Martin personally, he enjoys a great national reputation, and I've enjoyed watching his teams play from afar. Also, their AD is a guy I'm very familiar with, Mario Mocha. I think they've got a great team, a clear vision, and they're playing really well right now. Defensively, they're really dynamic on third down. I believe last year they were 7th in the country on third down efficiency. They present a lot of problems, and a lot of it has to do with doing things really well on first and second down. They've got an experienced defensive staff, and so that's going to be a challenge. We'll have a new quarterback on the road. It's been my experience that many times that's somewhat of a challenge for a young guy, so we'll need to make sure that Tyler is set and ready to go, and I'll talk about Tyler here later on. But New Mexico State's a stingy defense offensively, prolific offense, a lot of offensive linemen returning. Most of those guys have played. They are like us. They will be replacing their quarterback or their starter. And so it'll be interesting to see who they play out there, but I don't think their scheme's going to change drastically. They spread the field out. Being an old defensive coach, one thing that you cannot do is just because they're known for spreading the field out, they do have an effective running game, and they've got a couple effective running backs that can be very explosive, and so that's going to stretch us as well. Where we're at, Tyler Vanderwall will be our starter at quarterback, and we're excited about how Tyler has done. Cash Malaui will be suspended for the Washington State game, and so as for our protocol, there will be no further comments on that, but that's the game that he will serve as one-game suspension. Defensively, we're excited about where we're at. This is a pretty veteran defensive team, and a lot of those guys are back, and so we're really excited about our defense. We're also excited about our offense. I think you're going to see some new players emerge. Nico Evans has had a phenomenal offseason, and he will be our starting tailback. You'll see several other tailbacks play as well. I think we've got a good group of wide receivers, particularly in the slot position. Some guys have really come on and established themselves. Austin Conway's done really well. Dante Crow is a guy who's really emerged and done some great things. Rocket Ishmael has done some good things in the slot, and I'm probably leaving out a couple other receivers, but we're excited about our offense. We've got both our punter and our place kicker back, and I think we've got a good snapper. So we've got a great deal of respect for New Mexico State. I think we're a good football team also, and so it's going to be a great opening game. So at this time, I'll open it up to any questions anybody might have.
When you see them defensively, I mean, you mentioned they're pretty stingy. They can sack the quarterback. Do they blitz a lot? Is it up front? Is it linebackers? Where is the kind of the strength of their defense? And with 3 redshirt freshman offensive linemen starting in this game, how big of a test is that going to be for them?
Well, what they do, first of all, I think they do a really good job on first and second down. I know their defensive line coach from many, many years ago. They really establish the run well, and they create third down and long. And when they create third down and long, it's a Star Wars. It's every angle from every different player, and those things pose problems. And so, what that does give us is an opportunity to take advantage of that. I always say blitzing is great. Somebody's band's going to be playing. It better be ours. I mean, what you're doing, you're forcing the situation, and we need to be able to react to that well. Certainly, our offensive staff they're very concerned about their efficiency and what we're going to do to make sure that we can be very effective on third down.
Coach, I think they were second in the nation last year in pass attempts. Just what kind of passing attack do they bring? Is it sort of an air raid type of style, or how would you sort of describe their passing?
A lot of four wide receivers, sometimes no backs in the backfield. They will integrate the tight end from time to time, but they have concepts that they really hang their hat on, and they execute them well. They had a really experienced quarterback last year. He's gone, but they have one guy who's played some. So they'll stretch the field vertically, but a lot of things underneath they attack well. They have run-pass options, all those things. So they believe in really spreading the field out. They don't operate with a fullback. So offensively, it's a different style from what we've seen against our offense in fall camp.
Coach, following up on that, is that a good test, considering we've talked so much about your experienced defense? Is that a good test out the gate for this veteran team?
Yeah, it's a great test. We're really gonna need to be on point. Because of the numbers that you just mentioned, we cannot forget the fact we've got to be able to stop the run. I think if we can make them one-dimensional, that's going to open up our toolbox a little bit. I think we've got some really experienced players that can rush the passer, but we need to get them in that situation.
Hagan and Hazelton will have their eyes on certain players. You as a head coach, you have your eye on everyone. However, is there one player in your mind or position that you're going to have your eye on?
Oh, you know what? They've got a lot of players. That's a great question, but they've got a lot of players. I think I'm going to be paying particular attention to their quarterback. If we can press their quarterback, and that means making them one-dimensional, making that guy have to make great decisions and making plays, that's going to be a position that I'm going to be looking at to see how that guy's playing.
How do you like the way your offensive line's kind of tried to come together near the end of camp and then into this week after so many injuries and missing a match? Are you liking what you've been seeing the last few days, trying to get that group together right now?
Well, we are, but there's no doubt. I mean, you're going to see Rudy Stouffer make his first collegiate start at the tackle position, and so many times young guy going out there. We do think the other guys, while they're new, there's a reason why they are starting. We've had good competition. We have quite a bit of experience on that offensive line, and what's happened is some emerging guys have stepped to the forefront, Keegan Kreider and some other guys. So we feel good about where we're at, but I believe this. Any head coach that really they make all these grandiose statements. You don't know until you get in the middle of the first quarter what kind of football team you have. And you know what, I probably won't see you in the middle of the first quarter, but otherwise I can come back the next week and let you know.
Coach, it looks like last I checked they haven't officially named the starting QB. I know that's something you guys dealt with a lot last year, was maybe having to prepare for you guys. Is that sort of the same mentality heading into this one?
Well, it is. I think they have certain schemes that they'll utilize no matter who their quarterback is, so we're preparing from that standpoint.
As you went through camp, with Tyler at quarterback in the competition with Nick, what did you like from him in camp? And for him to win this starting job, what was impressive to you the most?
Well, the things that he's been able to do, he's got a very accurate arm. He's got good arm strength. He's got good mobility, and he's been able to, a lot of times football's not 7-on-7 pass where they're not rushing, and he's done a really good job of extending plays, of keeping his eyes downfield, throwing down check downs, taking his eyes not at the primary receiver's covered, going to the secondary receiver. He doesn't put the ball in harm's way a whole lot. He's a smart, bright guy, and the fact that he's been around here for a year certainly helps. That does not mean that we're not going to continue to look at the position. Nick's had a good fall camp, but we feel good about Tyler and where he's at.
Coach, looks like I think 4 true freshmen on the 2 deep at least. Are there other guys that you anticipate, getting in the mix this week, be it on the special teams?
Some of it's going to be contingent upon, where we're at health-wise during the course of the game. It's certainly, the new rule as far as being able to play a guy in 4 games is going to have an impact, and so there are certain guys that we're gonna travel, and we normally wouldn't travel them, and there's kind of a whole grouping of guys, and some of it's going to be contingent upon the heat. We're concerned about the heat. I'd anticipate it'll probably be about 120 to 130 degrees on the turf, even though it's 8 o'clock at night. And so sometimes you have some guys cramped, and we're concerned about that. So we're taking extra guys. We're taking extra freshmen.
Craig, you mentioned this will be the first year in a couple of years you won't go into a game without a rookie kicker, either a punter or kicker. How far has both Tim and Cooper advanced in these last couple of years for you?
Well, I think Cooper in particular has really honed his skills, and Tim's done a good job. However, he's going to need to perform well, and he and I have had a lot of frank discussions during fall camp that he's no longer a freshman. He needs to be able to turn this field over, and nothing has more to do with scoring than field position, and nothing has more to do with field position than special teams, and not only your coverages, but your punter and your kicker. And so both those guys are experienced. They're going to need to show up.
Has Nico been one of your, you mentioned he had a great off season. Has he been maybe arguably one of the biggest surprises of camp to, not just because of the work he put in, but to earn that starting job going into this first game?
I would say yes. Nico's been here several years and has been kind of a mix-in guy, and his off-season efforts have showed up. They showed up during the course of the spring. They showed up during fall camp. I think we really need to credit our strength and conditioning staff. He's done really well, and the numbers just by our eyes. I mean, those guys have a GPS chip on them. We're checking their efficiency and their explosion and how many times they're passing 20 miles an hour. That's pretty impressive. I don't know, maybe Tracy's got a couple horses that can run 20 miles an hour, but Nico sure can.
You have so much hype coming into last season with Josh Allen, and then arguably the same hype with a new quarterback and whatnot. Tack on what Robert said about having a young offensive line. What's the feeling around this offense right now?
Well, we'll find our way. Coach Vegan is a really experienced offensive coordinator. He's fashioned, I think, a great game plan, and those guys have a good, clear understanding. There's a lot of clarity what we can do, what we think we can do. You're going to see. I'm not going to give away all our secrets, but every year, every offense is a little bit different. Last year, we relied on Josh an awful lot to extend plays. I do feel like Tyler can extend plays, but quite frankly, very few people have Josh's ability to do that, and so our offense will look different, but we feel like can be very explosive. And quite frankly, too, our numbers offensive last year were really poor. I mean, we won games, but we were not prolific on offense, and we need to improve in that area, and we feel like we can.
Coach, you got a lot of guys who've started at defensive end. What was it about Garrett that he did to sort of earn that starting role opposite Carl?
Well, some of it, Josiah Hall is coming back from a blood clot, and so that changed some things. And then, Kevin Prosser's a guy that has played some, but we feel good about where we're at. You're going to see a lot of those guys integrated, and there's another case of a walk-on player that's come and been added on scholarship.
Craig, with Kellen on number 4 at the depth chart running back, I know he just came back from that shoulder. Is that just because he's still easing back, or did those other guys perform that much better over time?
Well, it's a collection of a couple things. One, Kellen's coming back. He's got a little bit of an aggravated hamstring, and some of it's going to be contingent upon how he performs this week in practice. But the other guys have done well. We have scrimmaged a lot. We've put those guys in live situations, and so we feel good about the collection of running backs that we have. And sometimes when guys have an opportunity, some guys take advantage of that, and that's what Nico's done, and X, and some of the other guys.
Given the freshman quarterback and the problems with the running game last year, how important is the running game this year?
Well, you hit the nail on the head. The best thing I know that we can do to take pressure off a freshman quarterback is be able to run the football. And in the end of the day, Tracy, our team will be stamped here at Wyoming. We've not certainly arrived. We're a work in progress, but you'll know when we're able to run the football and we play great defense, that's our formula. For us to be saying we're going to be throwing the ball 60 times a game, that's not our MO. That's not our recruiting strategy. And so Tyler's got good ability. We can throw the football, but we would like to say we're going to be more run than pass. And some of that's going to be contingent upon not only the running back, but specifically the offensive line. We've got to do a better job. I think we're bigger and stronger, and getting man on man and getting movement on the line of scrimmage is going to be imperative.
Frank Crum is a Wyoming native, Laramie kid. Can you talk about his progress this offseason?
Well, Frank's a guy from Laramie. His father played here and his grandfather played here. And we made a commitment when we first got here. Many of you were in the room that we said we were going to have more Wyoming players on our roster. I think you'd look and say what we said we were going to do, we have done. Frank is a work in progress. He's gotten stronger. I think he's up to 285 now. Some of it is we're not as deep at the offensive tackle as we've been. Alonzo Velasquez will be back, but it's great to see Frank make the travel squad.
Sounds like this is a very, from their end, a real big game, just being on, I think, ESPN2 for the first time in a decade, stuff like that. I know, obviously, you guys aren't overlooking a season opener, but is that something you have to emphasize to the team that, this is huge on their end as well?
Well, we spend a little bit of time talking about our opponents. It's always more important that we focus on us, on the Cowboys. However, we made point we're practicing with crowd noise. We'll probably get a noise complaint today. Tom will probably, I don't know who that person is down the street, but they'll probably call up, go ahead and send me the ticket. We're going to crank up the speakers today to make sure we're practicing with crowd noise. And, kudos to New Mexico State and, to Coach Martin and Mario. I think that's a success story. We also think we got a lot of great things about our program as well. And so we're going to control the things that we can control. Certainly a crowd energy comes into play. The best thing I know to take the crowd out of the play is go out and play good, effective football, and that's our plan.
Do you have a big remodeling project in mind? Then the best tool for you is a home equity line of credit from Platte Valley Bank. Whether you are remodeling, making home repairs, or expanding, a home equity line of credit can help you finish that project. Stop in and we'll show you the hidden value in your home with a home equity line of credit from Platte Valley Bank.
Some restrictions may apply, subject to credit approval. Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast, only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Del Range. The time is now, and the place to go is Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service for their annual model clearance sale of Jayco RVs and fifth wheels. This is your year to travel the countryside, and what better way with your Jayco RV from Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service. And to put you on the road today, save 30% on their annual model clearance. Their savings are always the best on whatever model you select. Come see and take home your favorite today when you buy from Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service at 6102 East Highway 30 in Cheyenne, or go online to jollyrogersrvs.com.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming-Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
Wow, it's hot enough out there to fry chicken. So now's the time to find ways to beat the heat, and Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, is the best place to go to get cool. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, which provides complete air conditioning, installation, inspection, and repair services, is offering its air conditioning inspections for just $98. So beat the heat right now by calling Marv's Plumbing and Heating today at 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be mostly cloudy with highs around 79 and winds out of the southeast at 15 to 20 miles per hour. Then for tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 49 and winds out of the west at 15 to 20. On Friday, it'll be sunny with highs around 83. And on Friday night, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 53.
Tired of lazy and predictable sports talk radio? We know you are. This is Cheyenne's new sports radio home. It's Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's right here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk Today. Again, nice words from Craig Bohl, getting you all cowboyed up and ready to rock and roll against the Aggies of New Mexico.
What is he going to come out week one and go, oh, the place is on fire, we need to panic? I mean, what the hell do you expect? Again, obviously, he's got confidence. You should have confidence, again, leading, or at least with your defense, top 10 in the nation. That offense, I feel better with it behind Tyler Vanderwall as your QB. Again, it is, he's not going to be Josh Allen. We all know that. Could he be? Possibly. There were stints, or at least kind of scouting reports, that he does have that kind of arm strength that could be,
does he have the ability to think on his feet? That would be one of the keys.
That's the big question. Again, that offense is the biggest mystery right now for the Wyoming Cowboys going into this game. Again, a big test coming up against New Mexico State. Again, what I've been saying for quite some time, it is a true test. It's a filling out process. It's a team that you're going to see equivalent to the rest of the Mountain West.
Well, also, too, if you watch films on quarterbacks that Craig Bohl has brought into his system,
a Carson Wentz, Josh Allen.
And Josh Allen. And again, if you look at the similarities, arm strength, big cats.
Yeah.
And, again, able to think on their feet. So, again, and this is nothing against Nick Smith. I just think that Tyler
we had our small sample size those last 3 games.
I think Tyler Vanderwall is going to offer more to the program than Nick Smith. Now, Nick Smith has grown. He's a lot stronger. Obviously, he probably has a little more grasp of the playbook.
But along with the rest of that offense, including receivers, running backs, and that line as well, as much as it's a little injured. But
I think he'll be good out of the bullpen this year. I would feel a little more confident in him coming onto the field out of the pen.
I have some confidence in the offense. I think, again, they should be improved to what we saw last season. But is it a situation with Vegan, with that offensive coordinator, with that offense, is it going to be as predictable as what we saw last season, or are we going to change things up? Is it going to be a little unique? Is it going to be tailored to, again, get away from the Josh Allen era that was here in Wyoming and move on to it's Tyler Vanderwall's time?
But
let's tailor a little bit to what if he can't maneuver on his feet?
Even a few games that Josh was out there last year, the offense was predictable. It was boring.
It was pretty awful.
I mean, the weapons last year.
But I'm just saying,
Josh didn't have weapons last year.
Does this offense, or at least the packages that we do have, does it at least accommodate to, hey, we no longer have this guy who was that top 10 NFL draft pick. We got to move on. Here it is, Tyler Vanderwall. He's, again, scouting reports show that he could be like a Josh Allen, could be a good piece for this Wyoming Cowboy team. But is it, again, we don't know. We don't have proof. We haven't seen what he can do on a college level as is.
This is the
so we don't know if he can think on his feet. We don't know if he can ad-lib. But hopefully this offense is coordinated, or at least tailored to what he can do.
Well, and here's the thing, too. And again, Carson Wentz was, yes, he could be a quick striker, but the way the offensive package for Craig Bohl is, it's a deliberate offense.
Yeah.
Josh Allen kind of broke the mold because he could be a quick strike. I mean, again, just with the ad-libbing alone. Tyler Vanderwall will work in a system where, again, it's deliberate. Yes, they will go up top. It's not like they're going to sit there and bore you to death with run, pass, again, it's how the situations are going to pan out offensively.
Yeah.
I would like to see Vanderwall and that big arm get that opportunity.
Which I think he will.
You know, again,
we saw that opportunity with Josh Allen. I think they're going to allow him to do that.
But even in the pros, once in a while, on a 1st and 10, they take a shot at it. They throw it 50 yards. What the hell? Why not?
Yeah.
So, if this kid's got this big old cannon, let's see him fire a bullet once in a while. So, I'm looking forward to his first experience. I don't think – everybody has nerves when you step onto the field. Don't get me wrong. But I think, it's going to be good for him to face something other than the Wyoming Cowboys. So I feel when he's down there in Las Cruces coming up on Saturday that, there will be maybe some butterflies, but after about the first couple of hits, that will go bye-bye, and he'll be ready to play some football. I do want to mention this.
I'm just trying to find lines. Again, so far, no line. It's kind of an even kill between Wyoming and New Mexico State. That game will be at 8 o'clock. In the evening on ESPN2 is where you can watch that if you're not traveling down to Las Cruces, New Mexico. So, again, 8 o'clock on Saturday, ESPN2.
If there's no line, that means basically the Cowboys.
It's a toss-up.
Well, yeah, but usually if you're the home team, you're favored by at least 3.
Yeah.
So
I'm just saying there is no line for this one coming up.
I do anticipate this to be a very close game. I really do. I would think who makes the least amount of turnovers.
Again, it's clearly a coin flip according to at least sports books. In my mind, it's the same thing of either or can win this game. Will New Mexico State take advantage of it being at home? Again, not having to travel up here to Laramie. It can go either or. It can go either or for me. We do not know what Wyoming's offense is going to be like.
I think the Cowboys will slow down their run, and that's going to force them to pass. And
they have a talented quarterback.
I understand that, but I don't think you want to throw against the Cowboys secondary.
Yeah.
This is what I like about this is the good positive thing about the Cowboys defense this year. It's going to be hard to run against them. Okay? Then they're going to force you to throw, and that secondary is so active, and a veteran secondary to boot. You know, they're not going to get toasted. So, like I said, if we want teams to throw against us because when you are forced to throw against them, that's where bad things are going to happen to you.
This weekend with Wyoming, it is one of the few Mountain West conference teams in action. The other one will be a Mountain West Conference game essentially, with Colorado State hosting Hawaii. That game also too on Saturday, 5:30 p.m. down in Fort Collins, Colorado. That will be seen on CBS Sports Network. Just want to toss that out that they will be in action as well. The rest of the Mountain West will be in action next weekend for whatever reason. CSU in that contest, 14-point favorite, so no surprise there at all. A game that, as we've been mentioning, or at least I have, we will be at. So, again, the little Wyoming Sports Talk today, invasion of Fort Collins, will be happening this weekend since we can't make it down to Las Cruces. So, why not the next best thing?
Well, we could, but we figured, hey, there's a game here. We're going to stop and might as well catch that one instead. Here's the deal, too, with the Cowboys loading up for this weekend as they will take on the Aggies. Again, the litmus test for the Cowboys is a win on the road. Got to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, this is non-conference per se, but again,
but it sure feels like it's a conference game. Again, this is a team that's equivalent. As I keep on saying,
a lot is on the line for the Cowboys here, and again. I think,
and this will prepare them to go down to Albuquerque as well too this season, where again you'll see the Lobos. As much as New Mexico is going to be terrible, and they're going to be pretty much just at the bottom of the Mountain West, but it still prepares you of just in case you don't get trapped and you kind of acclimate, or at least you know what to expect down in the state of New Mexico.
I just think the Cowboys, though, in this particular contest, again, albeit close, I think the Cowboys are going to basically send a message to the Mountain West this weekend defensively. Offensively, that remains to be seen.
Yeah.
I feel real, like I said, I've never been more confident about a Wyoming Cowboys defense.
And I don't think you need to send if you're Wyoming, send a message to the Mountain West necessarily. It's more to Boise State. Again, the team that is favored beyond a shadow of a doubt, especially in your division in the Mountain. Again, you want to send them up going, hey.
You got Boise at War Memorial Stadium, so packed house for that one. And again, in my years here, I cannot remember an earlier start for the Cowboys. It usually is that Labor Day weekend when the Cowboys are in action.
Yeah.
So this is one of the earlier starts that the Cowboys have had.
Again, only 2 Mountain West teams coming up in action this weekend, and then the rest get underway next.
For the Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
I do want to mention this, and it's about time, and it's unfortunate, too, that this gentleman will never know that this is happening, but the family will. First off, Gil Brandt and Pat Bolin have been nominated for the Pro Football Hall of Fame as contributors to the game.
No
Similar
surprise.
to Eddie DeBartolo Jr.
Yeah, no surprise.
And again, this is I was so ticked off when Jerry Jones got the nod over Pat Bolin. Let's be real. Pat Bolin's done more for football than Jerry Jones is. They got Jerry World. I understand that.
I mean, he's been that center. Yeah, at least he's been that centerpiece
but
to get
Bolin,
Cowboy football on the map. At least out of Dallas.
Pat Bolin has been the owner who has brought winning results. That's all he has done in his tenure with the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
And he's also been a part of, when players, I think there was a player strike, and he was there making sure that, he was working to get those players back to work. Pat Bolin, like Eddie DeBartolo Jr., this is a guy you wanted to go to work for. Treated his people fairly. And anyway, so getting into the meat and potatoes of the story, because I know we ought to get to the top of the hour. Currently a consultant to the NFL and one of the key figures in the staging of the draft, Brandt was one of the key contributors to building of the Dallas Cowboys as vice president of player personnel. How about this run? 1960 through 1989, Brandt helped Dallas grow into one of the most powerful and popular sports franchises in America.
Again, America's
team. And then Jerry Jones came in, then it became America's most bailed out team.
Yeah.
Anyway, among the Cowboy innovations were extensive use of computers and deeply scouting the historically black colleges for talent. This is, without question, one of the greatest things that have happened in my life, Brandt reported today. Bolin, the longtime owner of the Broncos, is the only owner in the NFL history with over 300 overall victories during his first 30 seasons. Under his leadership, the Broncos had an unprecedented run of success, winning 3 Super Bowls, 7 conference titles. Broncos general manager and executive vice president of football operations, John Elway, celebrated Bolin's nomination on Twitter. The tweet went like this: "When you talk about contributors, nobody's given more to the game than Pat Bolin. His impact on the Broncos and the NFL will never be matched. It's great to see that recognized today. I can't wait for Pat's bust to join the Bronco family in the Pro Football Hall of Fame." So
again been nominated, but not.
Oh, I think to be elected to the Hall. Okay, to be elected to the Hall.
Yeah.
Bolin and Brandt, that is, must each receive 80% of the voting support by the entire 48-member selection.
Not saying they won't, but again, they've been nominated. It's not a guarantee, as we see with many Hall of Fame kind of selection committees and voting. Again, it's not set in stone. They still need to break that barrier. Not saying that they're not going to or they should, but again, we are. It took them this long to get them on to be nominated. You kind of have to step back and go,
here's the deal. The Contributors Committee is comprised of 9 members of the overall selection committee. The 2019 contributor nominees were reduced to 10 semifinalists. Then, on a rotating basis, 5 of the 9 members of the committee met at the Hall of Fame to discuss each of the nominees. The category is for individuals who made outstanding contributions to professional football in capacities other than playing or coaching. So, to be elected again, Bolin and Brandt must receive 80% of the vote, and that will be taking place, correct me if I'm wrong, on the day before the Super Bowl in February. So we'll find out if these 2 men will be headed to Canton, Ohio.
Which I think they should. I think there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, Bolin.
Granted, Denver's been outcrying of why it took this long to get at least Bolin nominated. It was kind of a crime.
I don't think it's just Denver, Nick.
Well, I mean, Denver's going to be the loudest.
The football community.
Yeah.
Again, we always call them the country club owners, but again, this ownership of old flag bearers that have been around for a long time, they know what Pat Bolin has done for the game of football. They know of his reputation in Denver. And again, too, you just look at as they say, the contributions they made without being a football player or a coach. Boland's, it's a I don't know how to say it. It's just so many pages of contributions that he's done. Yeah. And again, the city of Denver will always be indebted to the Boland family for taking over that football franchise from the Kaisers way back when.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we have reached the top of the hour, and we are going to have two more special guests joining us next hour. I'll let you have that.
Oh, you're letting me at least announce it as well. Yes, we
did
in the top of the hour.
I want you to see if you get the name right this time.
What? Pakula?
There you
go. I know. Again, I'm not an idiot like you. I don't need to. Again, just tell me once, and then I got it, unlike you, where you have to keep repeating yourself. Anyways, though, we will hear from Thunder Basin head football coach Trent Pakula, as he will be on, at least an interview that you had with him earlier. Because, again, as we're getting set for Thunder Basin in Cheyenne Central coming up this Friday at 7 o'clock, a game you will hear here live on 1480 KRA. And then also, too, an interview that you had as well with Cheyenne Central Athletic Director Chad Whitworth. We will tune in for that one as well. Again, it is week 0, but game number 1 coming up this Friday, as we will have Thunder Basin and Central High, the Indians, over at Risky Field, a game you will hear on the radio. We live stream that audio as well, too, on our 1480KRay.com website, and also, too, brand new to KRay video live stream, as we're doing with Wyoming Sports Talk today, that you can see on Periscope and YouTube. Well, we're going to stay away from Periscope, at least for the football games and basketball games that we'll be doing throughout the year, and more focus on YouTube, which you can go and find by simply searching 1480 KRay on YouTube, and we would like you to please subscribe to our channel.
And again, it's 1480 KRay, and
KRAE.
YouTube will bring you right there. Now, here's what we got going on. We're going to update you on baseball scoreboard when we come back after we get to the top of the hour. I can tell you right now, not looking too good for the Rocks at Coors. We'll have more coming up after we do a little business.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming-Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
As Cheyenne's weather turns warmer, dust and pollen can become a problem for those with allergies, asthma, or respiratory issues. And the last thing you want in the summer heat is poor air quality in your home or office. So it's time to turn to Marv's Plumbing and Heating. That's right, Cheyenne's most trusted plumbing, sewer, and heating business also services air conditioning. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, can handle all your air conditioning needs. Give them a call, 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
It is hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk Today. We'll flip the scorecard over, and we want to remind everybody that our program is being brought to you by Taco John's of Cheyenne, Jolly Rogers, RV Sales and Service, all in one convenient location right there on Highway 30. Chick-fil-A at the corner, Windmill and Del Range, where they serve up 3 squares for you at Ray and Cindy's place, and they are directly across from Menard's Chick-fil-A of Cheyenne. Kia of Cheyenne over on Nation Way, where the 18s are on the lot, but they need to go bye-bye because the 19s are trying to make their way in. So take a test drive today and save some big bucks at Kia of Cheyenne over on Nation Way. Platte Valley Bank banking the old-fashioned way. Yes, customer service. That is always at the front when you walk into Platte Valley Bank, and we encourage you to walk into Platte Valley Bank, the original location on Vanda High, and, of course, the east side location at the corner of College and Pershing. Again, talk to Platte Valley Bank. They do many things, HELOC loans. They'll do, a conventional auto loan. They do it all. Platte Valley Bank of Cheyenne. Medicap Pharmacy, you will find them over on Bluegrass Circle. Yeah, same location as always, next door to Texas Roadhouse. Lennox Auto Body, the auto and truck repair center, where there are many, many bays, and they are all filled up right now because people are getting work done from all the hail that we've had, and you will catch them over on Dunn Avenue. Heather and her great staff also work on the auto glass and detail portion of the program over at their other location on Pershing Boulevard. First Tier Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Again, talk to Tim and the great staff about their current CD rates. Great APYs that they're offering right now. Mondello's Pizzeria directly across the street at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. And again, if you like fresh ingredients, never frozen, fresh ingredients on your pizza or your sandwiches, and you like fresh baked bread and fresh dough, then Mondello's is the place that you need to be scarfing down some delicious Paisan cuisine. 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. The Wyoming, Montana Safety Council, you can call them at 635-4592. Mars Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue. Yes, some warm weather still on the horizon, but you may want to start taking a look at the heating unit as well. And, of course, too, we get things underway with our scoreboard, which is always brought to you by the great folks here in Cheyenne at Pepsi of Cheyenne. Here's Nick.
On the local side from yesterday over the rack, LCCC women's volleyball in action as they took on Trinidad State Junior College. They got the victory 3-0, and they are up 1-0 on the regular season. So congrats to the Lady Golden Eagles. On the soccer side, since we won't have a show tomorrow since we're going to be busy with high school football coming up, I do want to mention with LCCC men's soccer, their regular season starts underway, at least on Sunday. They will be taking on Garden City Community College at 1 p.m. over at LCCC. On the women's side, well, they are in Melbourne, Florida. They will be taking on, at least this Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They will be taking on Eastern Florida State College. And then Sunday, still down in Melbourne, Florida, they will be taking on Daytona State College. That game, again, on Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern start time for there. So we are in the regular season, or at least for fall sports at LCCC. Again, women's soccer, men's soccer, women's volleyball, it's all underway. It's finally here.
All right, we go to Major League Baseball, where the Rockies are trying to at least get it to extra frames. Trevor Story hit a one-out double. He's sitting at second base right now. Parra is up as Parra has a 2-2 count on him with one out in the bottom of the ninth inning as Parra came in for Matt Holliday, who auspiciously went 0 for 3.
Why he got called up, who knows?
Yeah, who knows, yeah. So
anyways,
Padres are leading 3-2 into the bottom of the ninth inning. Elsewhere, the Phillies, and this was a good one. Nick and I were talking about this during the break. A couple of Cy Young candidates, Nola as well as Scherzer, they battled and they gave
It's not a candidate. I think Nola's your guy.
I agree. Nola 15-3 with a 2.13 ERA, but again, Scherzer 16-6. Also with a 2.13 ERA. Phillies win today, and Nola outduel Scherzer 2-0. Indians are blanked by the Red Sox 7-0 at Fenway. How about David Price, 14-6 on the season? The White Sox clobbered by the Motor City Kitties of Detroit, 7-2 in Detroit. And the Giants, Mad Bum, 5-5 now with a 2.88 ERA. Giants beat the Mets 3-1. Games that will get underway when we walk out the door. Bravos at the Marlins. The Royals taking on the Rays in the Trop. It will be the Reds and the Cubs at Wrigley. And 6:10 will have the Swingin' A's in Minnesota to take on the Twins at Target Field. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Hi, I'm Alex White, tea master at Pure Leaf. When I make tea, everything I know goes into it. You can't be impatient. When I craft Pure Leaf iced tea, I don't take shortcuts, because I want you to have the same amazing taste of iced tea that I do. So I start with fresh picked tea leaves. Then, after they're delicately dried, I blend and brew them at a lower temperature to draw out their unique aromas. And then I taste and fine-tune the blend for a delicious smooth iced tea. I'd love to have you take a sip right now, but that's one thing we can't do over the radio. But you can experience the same delicious taste of Pure Leaf iced tea anywhere you are. I'm Alex White, Pure Leaf Tea Master. Pure Leaf, our thing is tea.
Got something to say? Then get it off your chest right now. Phone lines are open at 307-514-1071. Make your opinion count and call the show. Wyoming Sports Talk today.
Well, we have a couple more guests join us here on Wyoming Sports Talk today, pre-recorded for release at a more convenient time, as I had a chance to catch up with both of these gentlemen. First, we're going to be checking in with Trent Pikula, the head coach at Thunder Basin. As a matter of fact, we had Thunder Basin last year. I do believe it was in week 2 when it was also
It was so long
up.
ago, I have no idea.
I know, but it was so
it's smoky down here as well, too.
I mean, it was awful in Gillette. It was just terrible. Yeah. And again, South High had a good fight in them. Unfortunately, they just could not pull that one off.
Again, that's last season. We know Sheridan won it all, but this is a new season.
Yeah,
this is a new, at least Central High team, especially led by Mike Apodaca, new head coach over there. Again, it is a new season for every team across the board.
And
South,
also, too,
Central.
for Thunder Basin, a lot of those seniors that made that switch over from Gillette or from Campbell County, they're gone. So this is a young team. He'll talk about that here a little bit.
Do want to go over really quickly, if we're on the theme with Class 4A, just going over the rest of the schedule for that coming up this Friday. Again, it is 0 week. Number 1 ranked Sheridan Bronx at Rock Springs. That game will be underway at 6 o'clock. Just a little side note, Sheridan has won 13 straight against Rock Springs and 15 out of the last 16. The last Rock Springs win against Sheridan was back in 1950. The last home win was a 19-0 win back in 1956. Also, 2 in action. Number 2, Natrona will play, or at least come down to Cheyenne to take on the South High Fighting Bison. That game will be underway at 7 o'clock. Natrona leads the all-time series 7-0. What?
Oh, I just got a final score in. Rockies win. Ian Desmond with a 2-run walk-off homer in the bottom of the 9th inning with 2 outs.
Who cares?
The Rockies care, so they beat the Padres today.
Great.
And, again, take 2 out of 3. Well, they needed this. You can't lose to a dud team like the Padres, especially with the Cardinals coming to town.
They lost earlier. Anyways, continuing off of Class 4A action, Laramie will be up in Casper taking on the number 3 Kelly Walsh Trojans. That game at 7 p.m. Teams have split the last 10 games in that contest, with Kelly Walsh winning the last 2. Number 4 Cheyenne East Thunderbirds. They will be in Gillette taking on the Campbell County Camels. That game will be underway at 7 p.m. Last year, it was Cheyenne East defeating Campbell County by a final score of 65-0. Campbell County was a young team. They will be a little bit older, so I don't think it will be a same result. It could be. Who knows? But again, last year's victory of 65-0 by Cheyenne East. Also, too, a little side note of that victory from last year. It went down in East school history as most points scored in a game. It was the largest margin of victory for the Thunderbirds, and it also broke a 4-game skid against the Camels. And then our game here on 1480 K-Ray, which will be live stream, video live stream, all that fun stuff. It will be the number 5 Thunder Basin Bolts at Cheyenne Central. Again, game time will be 7 p.m. kickoff, and pregame here on 1480 K-Ray will be 6:30 p.m. Thunder Basin won last year in a close margin, 34-29. It was the first ever meeting between the two teams, obviously, because last year was
a shootout last year at Thunder Basin. That one we were kind of waiting that one out to the end, and unfortunately the Indians fell a little short. I feel a little more confident in the contest upcoming tomorrow for the War Tribe. We had a chance to catch up with the opposing head coach, he being Trent Pikula, his second season in charge of the Thunder Basin Bolts. Let's check in on that conversation right now. Right now we're talking with Thunder Basin Bolts head coach Trent Pikula, second-year head coach. Coach, first question out of the box for you. Thoughts about last season? Obviously, the ultimate goal is to win the 4A championship, but you got the program off and running with a decent group of seniors that got things started in the right direction.
Yeah, You know, we start a brand new program, like you said. That's never an easy thing. Excuse me. The school was split was a little harder on the kids than what we thought it was. So it took us a while to mesh things together. You know, as the season progressed, we pretty much were devastated by injuries. We lost a lot of key kids. You know, and there's some bad things with that, but the good thing is that a lot of our young guys got a lot of quality reps, and so all those young guys have stepped up this year and taken on more of those leadership roles and stepping into both the offense and the defense, and even special teams, and kind of feel comfortable now because they were there last year.
Coach, let's look at this season. Let's talk about the numbers that came to camp and getting ready to play for this season. How are you looking with the kids showing up for football?
I think freshman to senior, we're about 90 kids. And so, you know, we're down from where we were last year. But, again, I think last year was such a new thing. We had a lot of kids that just wanted to come out and see what football was all about. You know, we feel like the group of kids we have, it's a really tight group. They get along very well. It's definitely a team atmosphere, and I think that they're just ready for Friday night and ready to roll.
You have a lot of younger kids that will be starting in key positions, again, in the skilled position. So you graduated some really good group of seniors. Again, you know, it's almost like a 50-50 mix between, you know, veterans along with youngsters. But, however, the quarterback position, correct me if I'm wrong, I do believe your quarterback got some reps last year as a sophomore.
Yeah, you know, Mason Hamilton is our starting quarterback, and he started the majority of the season last year, and then he rotated reps with the senior, with Keaton Wilkerson, a senior who graduated, obviously. And so he got a lot of quality playing time. You know, 4A football when you're a sophomore, especially at the quarterback position, it's an eye-opening experience. I think just the speed of the game. But I think Mason really kind of adjusted well to that. In the off season, he definitely took on a leadership role, both in the weight room and just out on the field, just doing things with the kids, with the receivers. And so I think the kids look at him as definitely a guy that can lead us. And so, you know, along with our other young guys, you know, we're not starting, I don't think we're starting any sophomores, but a lot of sophomores will see the field. But some of the guys that are starting, they maybe didn't get a lot of varsity time last year. And so, you know, we're young, but we've put them through the test here this fall camp, and I think they've come through that pretty well.
You know, as you get into the Class 4A season and you become that veteran coach, you pretty much know all your opponents since you face them, you know, every season. But you look at a Cheyenne Central team that you're facing at Milt Risky Field, and they're under a new direction. Do you have a little scouting report on the new Indians for this year?
Well, you know, you can pretty much find anything on the internet. So, of course, we were able to find some Silver Creek footage from last year and from the last few years, and so we kind of have an idea of what coach is, what he ran offensively and defensively. You know, obviously that can change with personnel, and we know that. But so we scouted the best that we could. You know, and I've been around quite a few years. I've coached against Coach Apodaca at camps in the past down at Shadron and at Black Hill State. So, you know, we've definitely seen his team before. We know that his teams always they're very physical. They play extremely hard. They're well coached. And so, you know, you never know on that first Friday night what to expect, but hopefully we got a little bit of a scouting report that can tell us some tendencies.
Final thought, Coach, and again, appreciate you joining us here on our pregame show. You make the long trip down to Cheyenne. Again, there's very few short road trips unless you're going across to Campbell County. But you look at the week 0 schedule. I guess aside from the the obvious answer, which would be a win, what are you looking for from your squad coming up Friday night?
Well, those first game jitters. Last year again we opened up with Central, and we jumped out to an early lead and then let them get back into it. And so for us, it's execution. We obviously, if you ask any coach, you want to limit penalties, especially in these first couple games, because, just again, those initial jitters and the offsides things, the procedure penalties on offense. We really want to limit those and try to be as crisp as we can. But, and like you said, the ultimate goal is to win the game, but we got to go out there and just do our thing. We have to execute the things that we want to be good at. And defensively, I think, Coach Gill's our defense coordinator. He just wants guys to fly to the ball, to know their assignments, and when they get there to bring it with them and make tackles.
That's Thunder Basin Bolts head coach Trent Pakula joining us on our pregame show. More after these words on 1480 K-Ray.
If it happens on the diamond, the hardwood, the field, or even the ice, we'll talk about it on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Hi, this is Nick Peretti inviting you to join Larry Peretti and myself each weekday from 3 to 5 p.m. as we, along with our special guests, talk sports locally, regionally, and nationally. And you can chat with us too at 307-514-1071. It's Wyoming Sports Talk today only on 1480 K-Ray, and you can stream live with us at 1480kray.com.
You can actually get something good for your health at a drive-thru window. When you order your next prescription from Medicap Pharmacy, call ahead and use our drive-thru window. Or you can call for free delivery. You can even log on to Medicap.com and order a prescription refill. Your Medicap pharmacist will call you to make arrangements for pickup or delivery.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
Boys, I know you take great pride in being prairie dogs, but our mascot needs more sizzle. And what has more sizzle than Taco John's new sirloin steak burritos? So meet your new mascot, a sirloin steak burrito.
Taco John's new sirloin steak burritos are loaded with steak and bold flavors like cheesesteak, steak and potato, and steak and shrimp.
God, Wachowski, stop eating the mascot.
Olay the Day at Taco John's.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be mostly cloudy with highs around 79 and winds out of the southeast at 15 to 20 miles per hour. For tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 49 and winds out of the west at 15 to 20. On Friday, it will be sunny with highs around 83, and on Friday night, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 53.
You bleed brown and gold? So do we. Wyoming Cowboys football and basketball is always front and center on this show. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
We are talking with Central Athletic Director Chad Whitworth, and again, we've had a chance this week on our Wyoming Sports Talk Today to talk to the athletic directors, LCCC South and Cheyenne East. And of course, we get a chance now to chat with Chad as we get ready for our football game this evening, as Cheyenne Central will play host to Thunder Basin. Chad, I guess the first thing out of the box from me to you is summer's getting a lot quicker for you once school ends, and it's like, wow, you got a couple of months and you're back on the job.
Yeah, I'm sure the other guys spoke to that a little bit too. It's just, we obviously have a summer, but with everything that goes on athletically with open gyms and camps and different things up at school, we spend a lot of our summer up here anyway, so, which is all right. It's all good stuff. It's good to be up here and see the coaches and see the kids in the off season as well, and kind of see the hard work that they put in. Obviously having coached and like the other guys, you have an appreciation for that, and it's always fun. Really, summer when I coached was one of the times I liked the most, because it's just about getting better. It's about putting in some hard work and getting better. And I always enjoyed that time with the players, because there's not the we got to win. Who's playing, who's doing what. We're all up here putting in the same work. And so I do enjoy the summer coming up and seeing everybody, but it's also nice to take some time off in there too.
You have a couple new coaches that will be, first in our major sport, football, and, of course, also in the secondary major sport, basketball. So you have a new assistant coach in Jim Schaefer, who will come on over from South High, and, of course, the hiring of Mike Apodaca. So let's talk about a couple of your new coaches at Cheyenne Central.
Yeah, the football hire, which I think is the one that everybody was worried about. And when I say worried, I just mean that was a hire that we needed to get made, and I think people didn't quite understand the length of time it took and all of those things. And I think what people have gained an understanding as you go through things like that, especially when you have a kid in the program, is the timing of things. And when we're trying to hire coaches, we're looking at, hey, what jobs do we have available? Well, staffing last year went really late. And we were kind of holding on to that, and so then people automatically go, well, you got to be a teacher. Well, you don't have to be a teacher, but it happens that most of our applicants are teachers, and they're not willing to come to Cheyenne for $8,000 to coach the football team. So there's a lot that goes into it, and Mike and I talked at length about that because I felt like, in a way, we sort of handicapped him with the summer program because he got hired so late. But Mike, being the guy that he is, he said, Chad, that's not an excuse. We'll get our work in, we'll get our stuff done, and we'll be ready to go. And so I think that the off season next summer for football will look different than it did this summer. But credit to Coach Apodaca for coming in with a plan and getting that plan in place as quickly as he could. And I think Mike is a detail-oriented person, and I think just in his life, and you see that on the football, the practice field so far. Obviously, we haven't played a game yet, but I've certainly enjoyed getting to know him because he's a guy. Although a Central grad, I didn't know him. I didn't know Mike Apodaca. I know his dad. I knew his dad coached me in Legion baseball when I played for Coach Lane, and so this has been a neat experience for me to get to know Mike.
Let's talk about the numbers. And again, we've got a lot of fall sports already taking place, including golf and tennis. And, of course, you're going to have cross country. But football is, obviously your big sport that's going to be happening here. Let's talk about numbers of kids from, your triad, which is McCormick, those folks that are coming over to Cheyenne Central this year, and just what you're seeing as far as numbers for all of the fall sports.
Well, you know what? It's funny you say it because I'm right before I called you. I'm working on making some folders for every kid with just paperwork information, and I'm looking at the number. We have about 330 kids out for fall sports. Obviously, football, volleyball have a bulk of that. I think football started at around 85-ish, which is up from what we've been. I think we'd like to grow that even more, but it's certainly up from where we've been. And then you lose some through attrition and injuries and whatnot. Some go to two-a-days and go, yeah, this is not what I want to do, and which I think I had that same feeling in high school, so I don't blame them. But and volleyball had, I think 70-ish in that area, which is a lot. And when I was coaching basketball, I think we averaged around 50, 55. So you get 70 kids out for a sport. That's pretty good. So again, football's one because of the size of the team as far as the numbers of players on the field. If we could get that number to around 100, I think that would be outstanding for us, to be honest.
As we look at the football game coming up against Thunder Basin, and again, this is entitled a Week 0, even though Thunder Basin is already attending classes, but Cheyenne's schools have not yet, come to the table yet to go to classes. It'll begin here next week. Will this, to a certain degree, at Risky Field, hurt a little bit of attendance? Because I would venture to say that some families are going to sneak out for that last-minute vacation before school starts.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Excuse me. I know it's happened before, but, playing before we start school, obviously it can. I do think that, pardon me, that the excitement right now, especially for our football program, just having a new coach and Coach Apodaca and a familiar face to a lot of people in the community, I think that's going to help us. I know that Mr. George, our principal, sent out a thing to our school kids saying, hey, we got tennis going on, which happened last night. Our girls tennis team on Thursday played Laramie, both tennis teams, played Laramie, sent out cross country, just kind of the weekly schedule to the people in the triad, or at least at Central High School. So that was nice, and hopefully that'll help. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, with that crowd, especially not being in school.
Final thought, Chad, and I've known you for a long time, and again, you have been a part of Cheyenne Central, whether it's athletics or coaching or now in the athletic director's chair. And again, this will go in hand with the athletic director's portion of the program. But each year as you get into being the central athletic director, does it become more easier, or is there different things that come down the pike that challenge you as the athletic director?
Well, I mean, I think that it changes from year to year, and I think it varies. I think that some years, you go, man, it's a much easier process, having done most of this stuff that we do. I think the challenge this year for me, the way that we've attacked the district. When I say we, the way the district's attacked athletic trainers, and our longtime trainer Ann Rupert retired at the end of last year. Well, Ann was the trainer when I was an athlete here, so things that I relied on Ann to do with paperwork and things like that, she just did it. I never even worried about it because I knew she'd done it for 20 plus years, and it would get done. And so we've got a new trainer, and he's awesome. He's a fantastic young man, but it's just sort of he and I working together going, wait a minute, this is stuff neither one of us have had really to do. And that's really added some time to me this year. But it's one of those things that once he and I are on the same page and doing it, it'll be smooth and go just as it has in the past. But there's always things like that, I think, Larry, every year that come up that maybe not necessarily a challenge, but a change, and sometimes a nice change, because it sort of lets you not stay in a rut of doing the same old thing every day.
Cheyenne Central Athletic Director Chad Whitworth on our pregame show. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We got our Wyoming Cowboys update with Coach Craig Bull after these words on 1480 K-Ray.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming-Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
Is your free checking account no longer free? Lose those checking account fees and lose the hassle by switching to Platte Valley Bank's Value Checking and experience truly free checking. With Platte Valley Bank's Value Checking, there is no minimum balance required, unlimited check writing, no per check charge, no monthly service charge, free net banking, free e-statements, free bill pay, free mobile banking, and Platte Valley Bank customers can use their debit cards at any ATM anywhere absolutely free. So stop by Platte Valley Bank today and lose those fees with Value Checking.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC.
The time is now, and the place to go is Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service for their annual model clearance sale of Jayco RVs and fifth wheels. This is your year to travel the countryside, and what better way with your Jayco RV from Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service. And to put you on the road today, save 30% on their annual model clearance. Their savings are always the best on whatever model you select. Come see and take home your favorite today when you buy from Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service at 6102 East Highway 30 in Cheyenne, or go online to jollyrogersrvs.com.
We're taking Cheyenne, Wyoming Sports Talk Radio to a whole new level. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Stop this crazy thing! And it's only here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
Well, we were hoping to have Chad on with us live today, but he's been running around like a madman all day. Of course, they got the volleyball tournament going on, the Cheyenne Invite. So glad that he can give me a few minutes earlier today. So we put Chad on to continue on with our athletic director's reports that we had all week with our ADs, and again, obviously, not part of our pregame show. So I apologize for the ending of that. But again, it's just nice that we caught up with him. He gave us a few minutes of his time today. If you missed out, Rockies won today with a bottom of the ninth walk-off by Ian Desmond. They take 2 out of 3 from the Padres, and again,
which they should have done.
Again,
the fact that they almost lost that series to San Diego is, again, it's almost pathetic that you would have to say that, but it's also to a Rockies team where I told you at the beginning of that series, they can absolutely lose at home to a San Diego team. They've done it before. They've been swept by them earlier this season. So it would not have surprised me if San Diego did get the victory, but the Rockies find a way to get the victory and keep themselves in the
Here's
AL
what's
West.
going on for the Rocks now. They got a weekend set coming up with St. Louis.
Good luck.
They're not rolling over and playing dead for anybody. They are playing some good baseball.
They're fighting for their lives right now in a packed, at least NL Central and wild card.
And then you go over to Los Angeles beginning next week, Monday through Thursday.
And guess what? Dodgers, they're fighting for their lives as well, too.
Yeah, and you know, I still believe this, and just because of all of the bad things that happened to the Dodgers, and of course, you know, you feel bad for Kenley Jansen having the heart issues that he was having. But I think the Dodgers panicked and rushed him back too quick. I just don't think he's game ready. I think he needs some time.
I think they were desperate.
Yeah, but
clearly Los Angeles showed that they were desperate. That bullpen was collapsing in front of them, blowing contests throughout this at least few weeks again with the Giants, with whatever opponent that they did see in front of them. There were bullpen issues, and I think it was a point of, well, hey, Kenley, if you're 80%, please come back. We really need you because the rest of this team, or at least bullpen-wise, isn't getting it done for us. You are our anchor. We need you. And absolutely, I think they rushed him back because, again, it was just more so probably desperation of going, well, we're losing ground right now. We're losing ground in the NL West race where the Rockies are hot. Arizona is kind of staying atop. They're not going away at any point in time. We're not anywhere close in the wild card races, but hey, we need all hands on deck. We need help. And Kenley, hey, please, if you're showing any time, or at least where you think you can go, let us know.
Yeah, I think it was totally silly of the Dodgers organization because, again, even Jansen said, I feel flat. And again, even though he was out for a few days, maybe they should have trotted him down to Oklahoma City for a couple 3 outings and then bring him back up.
I think it's pure desperation.
Oh, I think so.
They're in a tight race. They're still within the NL West division title, and it was a situation where it's tail spinning. Please, we need you back. We need you desperately, and that's clearly what it was. Where you can't really take that gamble of what the Rockies did with Gray of going, well, we'll send you down to Albuquerque, let you fine tune and get healthy at least a little bit more. That was during the middle of the season. Here it is. It's kind of crunch time. We got a few weeks left. Those numbers become, if you're 5 games back, that seems like light years away from winning that, at least NL West division title.
Well, and here's the updated standings right now for the West. Diamondbacks up by 1 with their being idle, so the Rockies pick up a half game. Matter of fact, they are even in games right now at 127, so we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, 35 to go.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers sit 4.5 out. I don't know. I really don't know.
It's pushing it.
If they can make that charge. Again, they're going to have the Rocks in town for 4.
If we're pushing out the Nats on that side on the NL East, because they're still, I think they're around 5 games behind whoever's leading out there. I do believe Atlanta's still. But if we're pushing the Nats out, I think it's almost a fair shake that you could probably push the Dodgers out, that they are not going to be a wild card team. I think, again, you're going to see 2 representatives. You might see NL East, NL Central, not NL West in those wild card spots. Especially with the Rockies, what they're doing, Arizona kind of chugging along. They're not slowing down anytime soon. If we're writing off the Nats, I think we write off the Dodgers as well, too. I think that's something you could do. Because again, the Rockies, they're, as much as they look like they want to falter in some contests, they are still getting the job done. They are still getting wins. So again, you as the Dodgers, guess what? You still got to vault 2 teams with vaulting yourself. Because again, the Dodgers are their own worst enemy. They're the team that is shooting themselves in the foot.
And they got that 4-game set coming up next week against the Rocks. Also, too, I was just looking at the Giants. The Giants out of it. We've already thrown in that white flag.
They're 3 games behind, under 500.
They're 9 games out, but. I think back to many a year that the Giants and Dodgers wrapped up their series and something was on the line. I got a feeling here September 28th, 29th, and 30th, and the Dodgers have got to wrap up in San Francisco, that the Dodgers might be fighting for their playoff lives. And I think San Francisco may.
The only thing as a Giants fan, again, the only positive about this season. At least from my understanding, that Buster Posey will have that season-ending, or at least have that surgery, but it's after the season. He will continue on. It won't be now. He will play out the rest of the season for whatever reason, but that he will have that surgery later on. But
he'll get a break too this weekend because they go to Texas, so he can be the DH.
Yeah. But anyways, though, for the Giants, positive, being a fan of that team as we are, the only thing I can take away is at least they improved this season. And again, there's still 30 games left, and for them to. I don't anticipate them going on a 30-game losing streak, but at least compared to last year where you're approaching 100 losses on that season with that Giants team, you've at least improved with this so far. It's a team far, far beyond getting to the playoffs. It was also to a team that dealt with major injuries throughout this entire season, but I give kudos to the Giants, at least improvement this year, going up in the standings and not being as terrible as they were. Now, with that being said, I still believe that this team needs to restructure, move a lot of pieces in the offseason, as they've already at least rumor mill has been that Andrew McCutchen is on his way out. He will be traded. That is all indications at this point in time. But it's interesting to see, will they move on with Panic? Will they move on with a Brandon Bell? Will they move on with a Hunter Pence? Is it going to be bye-bye once again for a Pablo Sandoval? Will Longoria, who's been dealing with injuries this season, will that experiment end after this season?
I think Longoria is going to be set. I think Crawford's going to be set. Out in the outfield, I think Gorkis Hernandez has found himself a spot on the roster.
Well, it was good that got him out of the catcher position again, where he was okay backup, nothing really great of Buster, but it seems like he has settled out, at least out in the outfield. Yeah. But this offseason is going to be a telltale sign for the Giants, as much as they did last season.
We said that last year, and then nothing developed.
It looked like it was, again, I give them an A-plus effort of what they were. Again, they were aggressive in the offseason. Come trade deadline, they did the same move as the Nationals of just gambling, of going, all right, let's stand pat and see if it pans out for us. Clearly it didn't, kind of like with the Washington Nationals. Now with this offseason, again, it's a team that's not going to stand pat. It's going to make offseason moves. But what are they going to be? Is it going to be a complete fire sale? Are they going to make trades? Are they going to be aggressive and pick up big-time free agents on the market? Who knows? Who really knows? Yeah.
But I will say this about the Giants, since they won today, they're now 63-66, which to me means bupkis. But they've got 32 games left on the 33 games left on the schedule, and here's who they face out of the West. Just see if they can be a difference maker in the West. They only have 3 left with Arizona. They have, again, I'm not going to get the Mets and the Brewers and all that stuff. They've got, with the Rockies, they've got 6 home and homes with the Rocks. And, San Diego, we can care less. And they got 3 left with the Dodgers. So, let's put it this way, I don't think
they could be a thorn in the side.
They could be a thorn more to the Rockies than anybody, but I don't think they decide the West. I think they may decide a playoff spot. If anything,
again, I don't think you're going to only have one team out of the NL West. It's going to be your
I feel that same
winner.
way, but I would say if somebody is making a charge towards the end, they could be the deciding factor if that team is going to be a wild card or not. So we have the Rockies winning today as Desi goes deep in the bottom 9th inning, and the Rockies win. I was reading here.
We should probably take our last break as well too soon.
Well, can we do this real quick? The 49ers were in the news. Yeah. Interesting.
Nothing big.
Well,
nothing big.
No, it is big.
Not really. Maybe in your mind at least.
No, it's always brought up as a headline though.
All right, but again, it does not affect the 49ers in any major way.
No, but what is this saying about the Niners? Linebacker Eli Harold, one of the first 3 49ers to kneel during the anthem, was traded to the Lions.
Do I read into that he was traded away because of kneeling? No, I don't. Eli Harold, compared to that linebacking core,
he was a bum.
He's talent-wise, he's not anything great shake. So, how much do you read into that he was part of the beginning kneelers, or at least for this season in the preseason? I don't read too much into that, more of just he wasn't cutting it out for that defense, and it was time to move on. Again, moving him out to Detroit for the Lions. I do believe a complimentary 2020 draft pick was included for that trade, and then other details was to be at least determined later in the day.
Well, and even Kyle Shanahan said this guy was not going to be a part of their final 53.
Yeah.
So it was easier to get rid of him, and again, he's been average, I guess, for the Niners. But I will say
again,
this.
no big loss.
But with Harold's departure, all three 49ers who initially, I'm just throwing this out here, and again, take it for what it's worth, who initially knelt in protest of social injustice during the national anthem are now gone from the team. Kaepernick, who opted out after the 2017 season, safety Eric Reed became a free agent this offseason. Neither is signed with another team. So, just throwing it out there.
Again, Kaepernick is not joining any team because, again, he's suing the NFL, and guess what? No team's going to touch that anytime soon. Eric Reed, he's been vocal of saying that it's the world against him and kind of having this egotistical route about why he's not being signed. Kind of a similar situation with Kaepernick. Again, teams aren't going to deal with that PR, so, and again, he was a talented cornerback.
Reed?
Yeah. I mean, he was okay.
He wasn't bad.
It wasn't where if the 49ers lost him, it's going to be a big hole, but it is someone missing in that backfield where it's like, all right, even though you did replace him with Richard Sherman, so I mean, I'll take Sherman any day over than Reed, but it's with him. Do I read a whole lot into, again, for all three of them that have left this 49er team? Is it something that I read into that they all knelt, or at least kneel during the national anthem? No. I think it's just more so talent-wise. Kaepernick was garbage, clearly. Again, and this is being as a 49er fan, watching these teams, watching him lead them. He was nothing. He was nothing great shakes. Those great years that he had great talent around him that complimented him. Eric Reed, again, wasn't anything fantastic in the backfield. He was okay. And then same with Eli Harold. He was nothing great at all. He was a so-so. He's a backup linebacker as is. Oh, well. And I think it's more of a talent issue than it is the personal issue.
And the Niners are building. They don't want backups anymore. They want
winners.
They want your 1 and 2s to be.
You want your Mike Singletary. I want winners.
Yeah. All right. Your 1 and 2s could flip-flop at any time. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back with more after these words right here on 1480 K-Ray.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Wow, it's hot enough out there to fry chicken. So now's the time to find ways to beat the heat, and Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, is the best place to go to get cool. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, which provides complete air conditioning, installation, inspection, and repair services, is offering its air conditioning inspections for just $98. So beat the heat right now by calling Marv's Plumbing and Heating today at 316-7634. That's 316-7634. Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast, only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Del Range.
Get the unexpected with the new 2018 Kia Sorento. I'm AJ Miller for Kia of Cheyenne, and with Kia Sorento, you get intelligent and advanced technology for a better driving experience. The 2018 Kia Sorento helps you stay on course with available autonomous emergency braking and a lane departure warning system. Kia Sorento is also available with surround view monitor and parking assist to warn you of nearby vehicles. Come in today or call us at 775-0123 or go to KiaofCheyenne.com and we'll make it easy.
50 miles southwest of present-day Casper sits Independence Rock, an iconic landmark of the Oregon Trail. Thousands of travelers carved and painted their names on the rock as they traveled west. Explorer William Sublett may have been the first one to name Independence Rock when he stopped there on July 4, 1830, on his way to the Wind River. Located approximately halfway between the Missouri River and the Pacific Coast, pioneers on the trail aim to reach the rock by the 4th of July to beat the heavy winter snows. This is Mike Strom bringing you a moment in history from the Wyoming State Archives.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be mostly cloudy with highs around 79 and winds out of the southeast at 15 to 20 miles per hour. Then for tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 49 and winds out of the west at 15 to 20. On Friday, it'll be sunny with highs around 83, and on Friday night, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 53.
Fat, lazy, and stupid is no way to conduct a sports talk radio show. We've thrown down the gauntlet, upped the stakes, and made it clear that when it comes to sports talk radio in Cheyenne, there's a new player in town. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's only here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
We're back on Wyoming Sports Talk Today. I will pose the question to you, Nick. Have you been following any of the Little League World Series?
Not really. Not as much as I probably have done in years past. It's more so of the superstar that was Big Al. If you've seen that kind of little promo that kid did, hey, I'm Big Al. They call me Big Al, and I hit dingers. Other than that, though, not if I know of who's been competing in, at least of states and at least teams, but of who is a part of it, not entirely.
Well, here's what's happening, and there will be a game here when we get off the air. It'll be Mid-Atlantic and Southeast, and I do believe the loser of this contest, they'll be eliminated. So the standings right now, the U.S. standings has the West, they're 3-0. Southeast is 3-1, and Mid-Atlantic 2-1. Already eliminated are Great Lakes. They've lost 2. Midwest has lost 2. New England, Northwest, Southwest. So, we're down to the final 3 in the U.S. bracket. International, Asia Pacific 3-0. Japan, who eliminated the Caribbean today on an error, they won 1-0. So Japan is 3-1. So eliminated are the Caribbean or the Caribbean. Canada, Latin America, Mexico, Australia, and Europe, Africa. So we're down to the final 5 teams, and we'll be down to the final 4 here after tonight's contest between the Southeast and Mid-Atlantic. I just enjoy sitting down and watching Little League baseball, and
it's more so of keeping up with the championship game. That's where main focus mainly goes.
The history of Williamsport, Pennsylvania, though, and watching the Little League, and again, whether it's Japan or whether it's the West out of the U.S. representing, I don't care. It's just fun to watch the kids play. And you sit there sometimes and you look at these guys and say, that kid is 12 years old and he looks like he's ready to shave. He's a big brute.
Well, it's kind of like the bench warmers kind of thing.
Then you look at some of the other
drawn
guys,
in crayon.
You look at some of the other kids, you're going, that kid's like 9 years old, 10 years old. Get out of here, But it's always fun to watch the Little League World Series. And again, just wanted to throw that out there. I do believe ESPN covers it, and
unfortunately,
it will be a 5:00 game. As Japan has just defeated the Caribbean here 1-0. The Mid-Atlantic versus the Southeast, that will be a loser out coming up at 5 p.m.
And let me clarify on the unfortunately. It's not unfortunate that we are seeing Little League World Series on TV. It's more so of it has to be on that loser network of ESPN again. Just ESPN, just go away, please.
Man, you got this real sour taste in your mouth. Didn't you know that they're not?
Haven't you complained about ESPN quite some time?
I do, because they're a joke.
Yeah,
and look,
they need to go away.
And look who they're owned by. And then then they come out with that great thing this week saying, we're not covering the national anthem. They're going to go to commercial. All that's.
And granted, they again as a network, they have that right.
Political.
Oh well,
you know how they are.
I mean, we don't play the national anthem during our broadcast. We try to go to a break, correct?
Right. Because it's never, again, our problems with the anthem or with setting up the times, you never know.
Yeah.
You have different official. What you have to do, me especially, is I go down and talk to the referee and say, hey, look, we are scheduled to start at 7. I expect the kickoff at 7 o'clock.
And it's not just football; it's basketball as well too. Where the clock shows, hey, we have 3 minutes until game time. Well, we'll start early and just get underway. Well, hey, pal, we're kind of in the middle of doing something right now.
Yeah, so
we kind of go off of that clock that you have.
So they don't care whether we're broadcasting live or not.
Some officials just they have no understanding of
so
what
we try to time it as best we can. Yeah. Unfortunately, we can't carry the national anthem. But and again, on most radios, I don't think carry the national anthem. That's when they get a chance to do their business. But in the situation here with the National Football League, everybody's done this for years and years and years. ESPN said, I don't think so. We don't want to be political. And it's like you are the leftist portion of politics, and all of a sudden now you don't want to carry the national anthem. Whatever. The NBA's Board of Governors are in the news.
For what reason?
Are they? Well, they are expected to pass rule changes for next season.
Yeah, we've already. Yeah. Things we've kind of anticipated of what
resetting the shot clock.
Yeah, what was rumored
after an offensive rebound of 14 seconds from 24.
Yeah,
simplifying the clear path foul rule.
Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, really, a clear path foul.
Yeah, half of them don't even know couldn't even define what a clear path is.
Does that mean Draymond Green will never get called for a foul? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Maybe.
And expanding the definition of the hostile act to more easily trigger instant replay, according to league sources.
Hostile act, yeah, whatever.
What the hell's a hostile act?
Without knowing it off the top of my head, it's just more so of kind of on-court fights, I do believe, but it's...
All right. Here, under the changes, the clear path rule to the basket would be in play in these three instances. A personal foul is committed on any offensive player during his team's transition scoring opportunity.
Yeah.
I can live with that. When the foul occurs, the ball is ahead of the tip of the circle in the backcourt. No defensive player is ahead of the offensive player with the scoring opportunity, and that offensive player is in control of the ball or a pass to him has been released.
Whatever.
And then the defensive foul deprives the offensive team of a transition scoring opportunity.
And again, which is obvious, where, again, if you get a fast break opportunity, again, where, hey, instead of getting the easy points, let them fight for it, whatever. Again, it's minute, questionable, at least moves. Again, nothing that's going to alter the game drastically, but it's also to its why.
And here's the expanded definition of the hostile act. To trigger instant replay would now extend beyond interaction with another player to also include a hostile interaction with a referee, coach, or fan.
Yeah, so again, to avoid fights on the court and yelling and blah, blah, blah. So when Steve Kerr blows up at a referee, now we have to go into an instant replay to make sure that we are tossing him out, which you were already probably going to do, referee. But yeah, it's just more delaying of the game.
Yeah. Again, we got to go to instant replay and see how bad he was yelling at me.
It takes so long.
I like it.
People complain about MLB replay, but NBA is one of the worst. It's up there with NFL of, really, it took you that long to figure out a quick play, or, okay, his hand is touching his arm, that's clearly a foul, or that bucket did not make it in, but we got to take 5 minutes of time to go, well, we got to make sure all our angles are correct on this. It's a joke.
Yes,
it's a joke, and it's a waste of time. Games that should last maybe 2.5 hours, you extend it out to 3.5 because,
it's on TV, too.
We got to make sure.
All right, we are going to wrap things up. Our final night tonight, because we have Friday Night Lights for tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And again, we will have our final night of our Golden Age of Radio Theater, Red Skelton Times 2, 8 o'clock until 9 tonight, 8. And again,